Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has paused everything around you for this moment. The alarm has sounded, not a sound heard by human ears, but a trembling in your spirit. Something deep within you already knows this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed, refined, and assigned for such a time as this. The world has tried to drown your fire with noise, doubt, distraction, deception. But heaven is cutting through that fog tonight. The pull you feel right now is proof that heaven is summoning you. You are one of the chosen ones, and before the battle begins, you must arm yourself. This war is not fought with weapons of man, but with unseen power. It is a war for your destiny. The enemy has studied you for years, waiting for your weakest moment. He knows the weight of your calling. He knows that if you rise, entire generations will be delivered because of your obedience. That is why he has tried to break you quietly through heartbreak, loss, fear, and isolation. But what the enemy failed to realize is this: you were built to survive storms. You are still standing because heaven has not released you from your assignment. This is the final warning before the fight begins. Heaven has drawn a line in the sand. If you lose this battle, if you give in to fear, distraction, or disobedience, you risk forfeiting the very purpose you were born to fulfill. God cannot use a vessel that refuses to stand. This is not about punishment. It is about position. There are souls tied to your yes. There are destinies waiting on your obedience. The shaking you feel is not chaos, it is construction. Heaven is building something inside you. Purpose never arrives dressed in comfort, it comes clothed in conflict. You've prayed for power, but power is born through pressure. The same fire that burns also refines. Every delay, every hidden tear, every silent night, it was all preparation. The pain that tried to kill you is the oil that now anoints you. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13. Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand, you must stand your ground. Chosen one, you cannot face tomorrow's warfare with yesterday's mindset. You cannot carry old wounds into new battles. This is where you draw the sword of faith and raise your shield of obedience. Heaven does not send unprepared warriors to the front lines. The time for hesitation is over. The season of training is complete. The trumpet is about to sound. Your spirit already knows this moment is different. You can feel the weight of it. Heaven is testing who will rise and who will retreat. This message did not appear by accident. It is heaven's direct call to you. Will you answer? You've been through the wilderness long enough. Every unanswered prayer was heaven's way of strengthening your discernment. Every closed door protected you from premature exposure. You were not being ignored, you were being armed in silence. The waiting season was your weapon-forging season. Now the alarm rings through the heavens, it's time to move. This fight is not about survival, it is about succession. What you win here will bless generations after you. Your obedience will echo through your bloodline. That's why the warfare has been so personal, because your breakthrough will not just free you, no, it will free those connected to you. Chosen one, lift your head, shake off fear. Heaven is not asking for perfection, only surrender. Lay down the excuses, silence the noise, and step into your assignment. You are not too late. You are right on time. Heaven's eyes are upon you, and the angels stand ready to assist. Right now, if your heart bears witness, declare your readiness in the comments below with the number 777. Let it be a prophetic act, your seal of obedience and awakening. If this message stirred your spirit, like, share, and subscribe so this call reaches every other warrior still asleep. Together, you will form heaven's front line in this generation's great awakening. The alarm has sounded. The armor waits. The next decision you make will shape eternity's story written through you. Rise, chosen one. The war has not yet begun, but your readiness begins now. The heavens lean close as you breathe in this truth. Every heartbeat echoes like a war drum in eternity. The moment you stand, angels align. The battle begins now. Rise and take your place. The weight settles upon you slowly, like dawn breaking through mist, gentle yet undeniable. You feel it deep within, that invisible heaviness no one else can see. It is not depression. It is destiny pressing against your ribs, reminding you that being chosen is both a crown and a cross. Others walk freely through their days, but you move under heaven's gaze. You cannot live like the rest, because heaven has claimed your steps for something higher. You have always sensed it, even as a child, that quiet distance, that sacred difference. While others fit in, you wrestled with purpose. You saw things they ignored, felt things they denied. You could not pretend to be ordinary. That was never rejection, that was redirection. God concealed you until the right hour so that when your season arrived, no one could take credit for your rise. The weight of being chosen is misunderstood by those who desire the glory but despise the grind. To be chosen means to carry unseen burdens, to face silence instead of applause, to obey when every part of you wants escape. It means you will often walk alone, misunderstood, misjudged, and still required to remain faithful. You are asked to believe before the evidence appears, to build while others mock, to stand when others bow. And yet, that is where divine strength is born, in isolation, in surrender, in the hidden refining. God's chosen are not forged in comfort. They are tempered in fire. Every rejection is purification. Every silence is shaping. Every loss is alignment. You are not being punished. You are being purified for purpose. It is declared in the sacred book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 9. His word burns in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. That is the truth of the chosen. You cannot remain silent when heaven burns inside you. You cannot rest when the call trembles in your spirit. There is a divine urgency that pulls you forward, even when you wish to disappear. The weight is not meant to destroy you, it keeps you aflame. There are nights you feel the ache of separation. You question why you must lose what others keep. You wonder why obedience hurts so deeply. But God removes what cannot travel with you. He lightens your load so your spirit can rise without restraint. The pruning feels cruel until you see the fruit it produces. Being chosen means you carry sensitivity others lack. You discern shifts before they manifest. You sense the unseen warfare behind peaceful smiles. You feel the tremors of heaven's movement when others feel nothing. This sensitivity is sacred. It is evidence of your assignment. You are not weak. You are wired for awareness. Heaven whispers where others hear only silence. You may be misunderstood. People will label your distance as pride, your discipline as obsession, your conviction as judgment. Let them. They are not meant to comprehend the language of destiny. You do not owe explanation for your consecration. The chosen walk a path narrow enough for only one set of footprints at a time, yours and God's. When the burden feels too heavy, remember this: the weight proves you are carrying something real. God does not place His glory on the careless. He trusts only those who can bear it without collapsing. You were not chosen because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. You said yes when others said later. You stayed when others fled. Heaven noticed. So when your heart trembles beneath the load, breathe this truth. This fire in your bones is proof you are alive in purpose. You are not being crushed. You are being crafted. The pressure is molding you into someone heaven can send without fear. Stand beneath the weight. Let it shape you. Let it teach you endurance. One day, others will see only the strength, but heaven will remember the struggle that built it. That is the secret of the chosen. Your hidden obedience is louder in heaven than any public victory on earth. You will not break under this calling. You will rise from every crushing, refined but not ruined. Heaven's eyes have never left you. Every tear you shed has been recorded in eternity. The weight you carry is proof of your purpose. You are not empty, you are pregnant with divine fire. What feels like pressure is heaven's hand shaping your destiny into form. Keep walking. Keep standing. Every unseen step echoes through eternity. When the refining ends, you will not be the same. You will emerge radiant, marked, and ready for the glory ahead. There is a whisper moving through the unseen, a sound that isn't carried by air but by intention. It is the enemy's oldest weapon, subtle, quiet, disguised as logic and self-preservation. The whisper says, "You're not enough. You missed your moment. God has forgotten you." It comes softly, patiently, until it feels like your own voice. This is how the enemy works against the chosen. He does not roar, he reasons. He speaks in suggestion, not confrontation. He won't tell you to rebel, he'll tell you to rest when it's time to fight. He'll call apathy peace and distraction balance. He wraps poison in comfort so you'll drink it without question. The whisper of the enemy always begins in doubt. The same whisper that approached Eve in the garden still hunts your heart today. It questions the goodness of God, the clarity of His promise, the reality of His presence. When you entertain that whisper, your faith begins to unravel thread by thread until your confidence collapses. But the chosen cannot afford to entertain lies. You must expose them. You must speak truth louder than deception. Every time you feel that faint, familiar voice saying, "Maybe you're too broken, remember this, if you were useless," the enemy wouldn't be so persistent. His attack is proof of your assignment. There is a line drawn across your mind, and this is where the war intensifies. The battlefield is not in the world around you. It is within the borders of your own thoughts. When the whisper begins, answer it with fire. Speak what heaven says, not what fear says. The enemy's voice is volume. God's voice is vibration. It shakes you awake inside. As recorded in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19. "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." The moment you sense that spiritual prowl, you must rise. Do not wait for comfort to return. Do not reason with what is trying to ruin you. The whisper will sound convincing, it will sound safe, but you must remember that comfort outside of obedience is captivity in disguise. You have been given discernment for a reason. There are thoughts that seem harmless but are designed to slow your spiritual heartbeat. Take a break. It says, when God says, "Take a stand," don't pray today. It says, when heaven is waiting for your words to unlock something in your future. The whisper does not need you to fall immediately. It only needs you to stop advancing. If the enemy cannot destroy you, he will distract you. He will make you question your impact. He will convince you that your prayers are too small to matter, that your obedience goes unnoticed, that your voice carries no weight. But heaven measures not the volume of your voice, but the posture of your heart. Every whisper of doubt can be silenced by one declaration of truth. When the enemy says, "You failed too much," answer, "I'm still called. When he says, "It's too late," respond, "My God redeems time." When he says, "You are forgotten," declare, "I am written on his hands." The war is not about who speaks louder, it's about who speaks last. Let heaven have the final word through you. There will be nights when the whisper grows louder than your worship. You will feel the weight of silence and think heaven has withdrawn. But remember, this silence is not absence, it is strategy. God allows quiet so you can learn to hear his frequency beneath the noise. You must train your ears to recognize the tone of truth amid the chaos. And when the whisper comes again, and it will, you will not panic. You will not question your worth. You will smile with understanding, knowing that the enemy only attacks what he fears. He fears your awakening, your authority, your voice spoken in obedience. That's why he whispers. He hopes you won't speak back. But you will, because you are not ordinary, you are chosen, equipped, and awake. Now, if your spirit understands this moment, comment. No more lies, because when you declare those 3 words, you are not typing letters, you are breaking covenants of deception. You are telling darkness it no longer owns the narrative of your mind. You are reclaiming authority that was always yours. Type it, speak it, live it, no more lie to it. The whisper ends here. You rise in silence, but heaven hears the thunder of your decision. Each breath you take now declares war against deception. The whisper fades. Truth reigns. The battlefield of your mind becomes holy ground, claimed, cleared, and consecrated by your obedience. The battle around you grows quiet, yet within you, another war begins, the war no one sees. It's not waged with demons or darkness in the air, but in the deepest chambers of your soul. Here, thoughts collide like storms. Here, your faith either strengthens or fractures. The silent war within is the most dangerous because no one can fight it for you. Outwardly, you may seem calm. You smile, you speak, you carry on. But inside, the pressure builds 1,000 questions pressing against your peace. What if I'm not enough? What if I fail again? What if God has changed his mind about me? These are the quiet daggers that pierce the heart of the chosen. This inner battle doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to define you. You are learning the difference between belief and trust. Belief says, "I think God can." Trust says, "Even if he doesn't, I'll still stand." And that's what this season is demanding: trust that doesn't rely on proof, faith that doesn't require confirmation. There are times when your emotions will rebel. They'll scream that nothing is working, that prayer is wasted, that God is silent because he's absent. But your emotions are not the compass of your calling. The chosen must learn to walk by conviction, not condition. What you feel cannot override what heaven has spoken. It is in this quiet battle that warriors are formed. You learn discipline through disappointment. You learn patience through pain. You learn how to keep your heart pure when the world tries to poison it. The unseen victories you win within yourself will echo louder in heaven than any public display of strength. It was written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your heart is the command center of your destiny. That is why the enemy attacks it first. If he can infect your heart with bitterness, doubt, or pride, he doesn't need to destroy you, you'll do it yourself. Guarding your heart means refusing to let offense take root. It means forgiving even when you're right. It means worshiping even when it hurts. Sometimes, the greatest warfare is not resisting evil, but resisting your own exhaustion. You will feel weary, not because you're weak, but because your spirit is expanding. Every battle enlarges your capacity to carry glory. Don't mistake fatigue for failure. It's the natural cost of transformation. The silent war within teaches you who you are. You begin to recognize your patterns, how fear disguises itself as caution, how insecurity wears the mask of humility, how pride hides behind ambition. God allows these internal confrontations so you can see yourself clearly, stripped of pretense. You can't conquer what you refuse to confront. In the stillness, the Spirit starts to whisper, not to accuse, but to align. He begins to show you where your strength truly lies. It's not in your perfection, not in your knowledge, not even in your consistency. It's in your surrender. The most dangerous soldier in God's army is not the loudest. It's the one who kneels. This is where the noise fades and revelation begins. You start realizing that victory has never been about what happens around you. It's about what happens within you. The world may still be chaotic, but peace becomes your rebellion. The storm may rage, but worship becomes your weapon. When you master the silent war, external battles lose their power. You learn that the enemy can only manipulate what you give him access to. If your heart is guarded, if your mind is renewed, if your spirit stays aligned, nothing he does can penetrate the wall of your faith. This is the mystery of the chosen. The stronger the battle inside, the deeper the authority outside. Every time you choose faith over fear, silence over complaint, forgiveness over bitterness, you win a war that heaven records. These victories are invisible to men but priceless to God. So stay still when everything screams for reaction. Breathe when fear tells you to run. Rest when anxiety demands performance. The fight within you is holy ground. It is where heaven watches closely, not to judge, but to see if you will hold the line. You will, because you were built for this, built to withstand storms that others collapse beneath, built to host peace that confuses darkness, built to endure until glory reveals itself. And though no one else may see the war, heaven sees it all and counts every quiet victory as triumph. The sky grows heavy, but heaven is not silent. You stand at the edge of something unseen, an invisible line between waiting and walking, between preparation and power. This is where heaven begins to unfold its battle strategy. You have been trained in silence, purified in fire, and now the Spirit begins to whisper the instructions that will carry you through the storm ahead. This next stage of your journey will not rely on human strength. The strategy of heaven is different from the logic of men. It will not always make sense, but it will always make purpose. You will be told to go when comfort says stay, to give when reason says keep, to trust when your senses see nothing. Obedience is the secret weapon of the chosen. It disarms darkness faster than any sword. God's strategy often begins with surrender. Before he reveals his plan, he asks for your heart. Not because he wants to control it, but because he cannot fill what is already full. You have prayed for instruction, and now the instruction comes softly. Empty yourself. Make room for his command. Heaven does not shout over noise, it speaks through quiet hearts. Every chosen one must learn to move by revelation, not reaction. The world moves fast, but heaven moves intentionally. You will learn that delay is not denial, it is divine pacing. What looks like pause is actually protection. God is aligning people, moments, and miracles in ways you cannot see. The greatest warriors know that waiting is a weapon too. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 8. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. This is God's promise to you. You are not walking blind. You are being led step by step by the one who sees the entire map of your destiny. When he tells you to move, you move. When he says to stay still, you stay still. Every command, even the small ones, shape the path that leads to victory. There will be times when the strategy feels unfamiliar, when it requires you to let go of what feels safe. That's when trust becomes more than a word, it becomes worship. Trust means stepping when you cannot see the floor beneath you, believing that the invisible hands of God are holding you steady. Every act of obedience strengthens the foundation beneath your feet. And as this message reaches you, if it speaks life into your spirit, let it remind you of something sacred. You are not alone in this fight. There are countless other warriors rising alongside you, each hearing the same heavenly call. Together, you form an unseen army of light, scattered across nations but united by faith. If these words have helped you, inspired you, or reminded you of your purpose, then help them continue to reach others who are still in the dark. When you like, share, and subscribe, you are not merely clicking buttons, you are lighting lanterns along a forgotten path. Somewhere, someone lost in the same night you escaped will see that glow and find their way home. And if your heart feels stirred to go further to help keep this flame alive, you can donate. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. Think of it like adding oil to an eternal lamp. Each drop keeps the light burning a little longer, reaching a little farther, warming another soul who thought heaven had gone cold. You are not giving to a voice, you are sowing into a movement. Every act of support, every seed of generosity, every shared spark of faith becomes part of this divine chain of light stretching across nations. So, if the Spirit leads you, give freely, like share, subscribe, and on or donate. Each action is a thread in the tapestry of awakening. No gesture is small when it's done with love. Whether you fan the flame with words, time, or offering, you are part of heaven's design, keeping the fire of purpose alive for those still searching in the dark. You are the keeper of flame and faith. Every moment you choose light over fear, you keep heaven's torch alive. The darkness trembles when you decide that your hope will not go out. Somewhere, someone will breathe again because you refuse to stop shining. Your obedience becomes their signal fire, your generosity their sunrise, your faith the bridge they dare to cross again. Heaven records every spark, every step, every act of love. You are not just part of the mission, you are the message, burning bright enough to remind the world that God still moves. The moment of armament begins not with sound, but with surrender. You stand before heaven's armory, not as a soldier seeking weapons of war, but as a servant offering your will. The armor you need is not made of metal or iron. It is woven from truth, faith, and divine authority. The world sees you as fragile, but the spirit realm knows what you carry. Every chosen one must be clothed before they are called. This is where many fall, rushing into battle wearing yesterday's garments, armed with borrowed strength. But you cannot wear the armor of another. What protects one may poison another. You must wear what heaven designed specifically for you. God's armor is not heavy. It fits perfectly when worn with humility. The belt of truth comes first. It tightens around your convictions, securing what you believe so the enemy cannot strip it away. Then comes the breastplate of righteousness, guarding your heart from guilt, shame, and manipulation. Without righteousness, you will fight but still bleed inside. Next, you lace your feet with the gospel of peace. It sounds strange, peace as protection, but peace gives you footing when the ground shakes. The enemy thrives in chaos. Peace makes you untouchable. Then you lift the shield of faith, that invisible barrier that turns fiery darts into harmless sparks. Your shield is not decoration, it is survival. Faith does not stop the attack, it absorbs it until it loses power. Then comes the helmet of salvation, the safeguard for your thoughts. The enemy's primary target has always been the mind. Salvation reminds you who you are, whose you are, and what cannot be taken from you. When the voice of doubt whispers, "You're losing," salvation whispers louder, "You're already redeemed." Finally, you take the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. Every verse becomes a blade, every truth a strike. You do not swing wildly, you strike precisely, guided by wisdom. This is not a sword of destruction, but of division, dividing truth from lies, light from darkness, fear from faith. The ancient words declared in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 12. The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. You were never meant to fight in the shadows, you were made to shine through them. The armor of light is not for hiding, it's for revealing. When you wear it, darkness recognizes you before you even speak. The enemy's strategies shift because your presence announces heaven's authority. But hear this truth: putting on the armor is not a one-time act. It is a daily discipline. Each morning before you touch your phone or face the world, heaven waits for your declaration, "I am armed in spirit." This statement, though simple, signals to the unseen realms that you are aware, awake, and aligned. Every battle you face will test your armor, not to expose weakness, but to prove its strength. When peace feels distant, that is when your shoes grip the ground tighter. When lies surround you, that is when your belt of truth holds firmer. When the enemy throws shame like arrows, that is when righteousness becomes your shield. Remember, the armor does not make you invincible, it makes you prepared. It transforms fear into readiness, hesitation into boldness, wounds into wisdom. You are not walking into war alone. Heaven marches beside you. The commander of angelic hosts has already gone ahead. So as you stand clothed and ready, pause for a moment. Feel the weight of what covers you. It is not armor alone, it is covenant. You are wearing heaven's promise, wrapped in divine light. Every piece of it was crafted by grace and fitted by purpose. And now, before you move forward into the next battle, declare your readiness as a prophetic act. Comment the number 1111 below. This number is not a superstition. It is a symbol of alignment. 4 ones standing together represent complete unity. Body, mind, soul, and spirit moving as one under heaven's command. When you type 1111, you are not typing digits, you are signing your name beneath God's decree that you are ready. It is your spiritual salute, your declaration that you march in step with divine purpose. Let it be a signal in the spirit realm that you are fully armed, mind, body, and spirit, and that you belong to the army of light. When heaven sees that number, it recognizes obedience. When darkness sees it, it recognizes authority. When you rise tomorrow, remember this moment. The armor is not heavy, it is holy. You do not wear it out of fear, but out of faith. The war may rage, but light cannot lose. When faith feels like fire, that's when heaven knows it can trust you. The flames that surround you are not punishment. They are purification. The heat you feel right now is not the end, it's the forge. Every chosen one must pass through fire before they can carry light. For only what survives the flame is fit to shine. The fire you're in is not meant to consume you, but to reveal you. The gold within you has always been there, buried beneath fear, pride, and pain. The burning doesn't create worth, it uncovers it. God allows the temperature to rise so that what's impure in you begins to melt away. You've prayed for strength, and heaven answered with fire. Strength is never built in comfort, it's refined in resistance. Fire is a strange teacher. It hurts, yet it heals. It destroys, yet it defines. It takes what is fragile and makes it fierce. Many run from it, but the chosen learn to stand within it. Because deep inside, you've already discovered that pain is not your enemy, passivity is. The fire that burns your flesh strengthens your faith. Every trial you've endured has been a divine furnace forming something eternal. The prophet wrote in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, "I will put this third into the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined, and test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer them." You are being refined, not rejected. The pressure you feel is heaven's confirmation that you are still in process. Every spark of struggle means there's still something inside worth shaping. The fire will not last forever, but its results will. What emerges from the flame will not look like what entered it. Sometimes, it feels unfair the way everything seems to burn at once. Relationships fall apart, plans collapse, peace disappears. But God never lets anything burn that He intends to keep. If it's in the fire, it's either being purified or replaced. That's why you must not fear the flames. Let them do their holy work. Let them consume what no longer serves your destiny. There are moments when you want to escape, to find a way out of the heat. But escape would only postpone transformation. Every degree of pain has purpose. Every tear you shed becomes a drop of oil for the anointing ahead. When you stop resisting the refining, the fire loses its power to harm you. It becomes a tool instead of a torment. The fire also reveals who truly walks with you. Some will run when the heat rises. Others will misunderstand your silence, your distance, your intensity. Let them go. Not everyone is meant to stand beside you in the furnace. The ones who remain are those heaven appointed. And sometimes the only one who remains is God Himself, and that's enough. As the flames rise, something supernatural happens. Your faith begins to glow. The same things that used to break you now strengthen you. The very pain that made you question God becomes the evidence that He's still shaping you. The furnace transforms your fear into focus. It teaches you how to stand, not just to survive, but to shine. You start realizing that the fire doesn't just change your surroundings, it changes your sight. You begin to see life differently. You no longer crave comfort, you crave clarity. You stop asking why me and start saying use me. The fire matures you and it shifts your prayers from God, get me out, to God, get me through. The chosen are fire-tested souls. They do not glow because life is easy, they glow because grace kept them when it wasn't. Every scar on your spirit is a reminder that you survived something meant to silence you. The world sees ashes, but heaven sees armor. The smoke rising from your story is proof that you endured the refining and emerged radiant. When the fire finally fades, you'll notice something remarkable: peace, not panic. You'll look at your reflection and see the glimmer of resilience in your eyes. The very flames that threatened to end you will have become the reason you stand stronger now. And one day, when others see your calm in chaos, they'll ask how you found such unshakable faith. You'll smile, remembering the heat that once surrounded you, and simply say, "I was forged for this." You walk through the embers, untouched, carrying the scent of surrender and the strength of survival. The fire bows before you, now it recognizes what it created. Every step you take glows behind you, marking a trail of endurance. Others will follow your light, never knowing the flames that forged it. Something shifts when you stop running. The moment you plant your feet and refuse to flee, the atmosphere around you changes. What once chased you begins to lose its power. Heaven honors the stance of the chosen who decide to no longer retreat. When you stop fearing the fight, you start shaping its outcome. You've been through storms that tried to scatter you, voices that tried to silence you, and battles that tried to break you. Yet here you are, still standing. That's not coincidence, that's divine resilience. You are living proof that what was meant to destroy you has instead refined you. The turning of the tide always begins with one decision: to stand when everything screams run. Standing your ground does not mean shouting, arguing, or proving. It means holding peace when everything around you demands panic. It means believing that if God brought you to the edge of the battlefield, He has already secured your victory. The chosen do not fight for victory, they fight from victory. Every step forward is simply claiming what's already been promised. But this kind of strength doesn't come overnight. It's born from 1,000 private surrenders, moments when you wanted to quit but didn't, when you cried out for escape but stayed. The turning of the tide happens not through explosions of power but through quiet, consistent faith. The kind of faith that whispers, even now, I trust you. The Spirit reminds us through the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Stillness is not weakness, it is strategy. When you stop striving, heaven starts moving. God does His best work when your hands are lifted, not clenched. The enemy tries to bait you into chaos because chaos disconnects you from clarity. But stillness keeps your spirit tuned to heaven's frequency. There's power in peace. It's not passive, it's prophetic. Peace declares, I am untouchable because I am anchored. When the waters rise, peace becomes your weapon. When words of doubt swirl, peace guards your mind. When fear howls for attention, peace walks quietly through the noise and disarms it. The tide begins to turn the moment you choose peace over panic. You stop reacting to the enemy and start responding to God. The battle shifts because your posture shifts. You no longer fight to survive, you stand to reign. And when you stand, all of heaven stands with you. You may not see it yet, but the waves are already moving in your favor. What once towered over you is beginning to bow beneath the weight of divine order. The same waters that threatened to drown you will now carry you forward. This is how God works. He turns threats into transport, pain into purpose, chaos into confirmation. Sometimes, the turning of the tide begins in silence. You will feel it before you see it. The weight on your chest will lighten. The confusion in your mind will settle. The hope you thought was gone will start to flicker again. That flicker is not fragile, it's fuel. It's heaven reminding you that the tide is shifting, even if the storm still rages. You'll begin to notice small signs, doors that start to open, conversations that feel divinely timed, burdens that lose their sting. These are not coincidences, they're confirmations. Heaven moves subtly but surely. What felt like waiting will suddenly feel like release. The waters are changing direction, and you are standing right where the new current begins. Standing doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear doesn't get to make your choices. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It's the decision to stay despite it. And as you stand, something inside you grows still, steady, and strong. You start to realize that the enemy never had power, he only had your permission. The moment you stopped running, you revoked it. Now, the same ground where you once fell becomes the foundation of your authority. The battlefield becomes a birthplace. What was once the site of your greatest struggle becomes the evidence of your greatest strength. You will look around and realize that peace was never the absence of war, it was the mastery of it. This is the turning of the tide. Heaven is no longer preparing you, it's propelling you. You've passed through fire and silence, and now you are standing in stability. The storm hasn't ended, it's simply obeying you now. And when others ask how you survived the waves, you will tell them the truth: you stopped running. You stood still, and heaven moved. The air grows thick before breakthrough. Every chosen one knows this feeling, the heaviness, the pressure, the trembling silence before heaven moves. You can sense that something is shifting, yet nothing looks different. This is the breaking point, where the weight of your calling meets the limit of your strength. It is here, in this fragile intersection, that heaven waits to see if you will endure or escape. The breaking point is not your ending, it's your unveiling. The pressure is not punishment, it's prophecy. You are being stretched because expansion requires tension. God is not trying to destroy you. He's trying to draw out what He placed in you. The anointing that's coming cannot fit inside who you used to be. The breaking is heaven's way of making space. Every chosen vessel has a breaking point. Even Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane felt it. He sweat drops of blood as His humanity wrestled with His divinity. He whispered, "If it be possible, let this cup pass from me," yet ended with, "Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." That's what you are learning now to surrender at your breaking point. The voice of God still echoes from the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. God is not distant in your breaking. He's closer now than He's ever been. The same hands that shaped you are holding the fragments. The same voice that called you is whispering through the cracks. You may feel shattered, but heaven sees you shining through the seams. At the breaking point, everything in you wants to quit. Your heart feels stretched, your prayers sound empty, and your faith flickers like a candle fighting wind. But even now, the flame refuses to die, because inside that small flicker lives the entire story of your resilience. God never asked you to be unbreakable. He asked you to trust Him through the breaking. The enemy wants you to mistake stretching for breaking, pressure for punishment, waiting for abandonment. But listen closely, the sound of your heart under pressure is not the sound of collapse. It's the sound of capacity increasing. What you feel now is growth disguised as grief. You may cry, but don't curse the process. You may stumble, but don't stop. This is the holy tension between what has been and what is coming. The ground beneath you feels unstable only because heaven is uprooting what cannot remain. The breaking point is not where you lose yourself, it's where you meet your true self for the first time. When you come to the end of your own strength, that's when divine strength begins. God allows the breaking so you will learn dependence, not defeat. He is peeling away what was temporary so He can reveal what is eternal. Every fracture becomes an opening for His glory to pour through. So don't hide your cracks. They are proof that you endured. They are sacred evidence that you bent but didn't break. Light enters through the wounds that the world tried to shame you for. You are not fragile, you are transparent. Through you, heaven is seen. Every chosen one who reaches the breaking point stands on the edge of becoming. When you stop fighting the process, when you surrender the illusion of control, you make room for the supernatural. The power that raised the dead now flows through your surrender. That's why the breaking feels violent. It's resurrection preparing for arrival. Right now, heaven is watching your posture, not your perfection. Stay low, breathe deep, and remember that your breaking point is heaven's building point. What looks like collapse is actually construction. And if your spirit knows this message is for you, comment, "I'm still here." Those 3 words carry weight. They tell darkness that it failed to destroy you. They tell heaven that you are still holding your position. When you type them, you're not just commenting, you're testifying. It's a declaration that even at your breaking point, your faith still breathes. So, whisper it or write it, "I'm still here." Because survival is not weakness. It's worship. You didn't come this far to be broken, you came this far to be born again through the breaking. When you declare, "I'm still here," heaven records it as a roar, not a whisper. Those words are not weakness, they are warfare. They mean you refuse to vanish in the valley. You refuse to surrender your promise to pain. Each letter becomes a seed of endurance. It tells the spirit realm that your pulse still beats with purpose, that your hope still has roots. When you speak them, angels take position. The battle bends toward you because resilience is recognized in heaven as victory. The voice comes in the fire, not above it, not after it, but inside it. When the world grows loud, when every distraction demands your attention, that is when heaven speaks softly. The fire that once frightened you now becomes the frequency where God's voice is heard most clearly. In the midst of what feels unbearable, you begin to understand that pain is not the absence of His presence. It is the amplifier of it. There's something sacred about the fire because it strips away everything that muffles divine sound. When you are surrounded by flames, you have no choice but to listen. The noise of the world burns off, the opinions of others turn to ash, and all that remains is the whisper that says, "I am still here." That whisper isn't outside of you, it's within you. It's the Spirit reminding you that you were never alone in the heat. You realize that the voice in the fire is not demanding, it's defining. It doesn't shout, it shapes. It doesn't condemn, it confirms. God is not trying to prove His power, He's trying to remind you of yours. The same fire that scared you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal that you are made of something flame cannot consume. The Spirit once spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, saying, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." You have walked through seasons that should have taken you out, but they didn't. Every scar you carry is a scripture written on your skin, proof that the promise still stands. The fire didn't burn you. It branded you with purpose. And now, that voice within the flames is calling you higher, to live, to lead, to love with courage again. The voice speaks differently when you've survived the heat. It no longer tells you where to run. It tells you where to rebuild. You begin to see that your ashes are not the end but the foundation. What burned down in your life was never meant to last, it made space for what will. You learn that faith is not the absence of flames but the ability to find direction within them. And as this message reaches you, know this: you are not alone in your rebuilding. Around the world, there are other warriors, other survivors of the flame, listening, learning, rising again. Together, you are the living embers of a greater fire, one that cannot be extinguished. If these words have stirred something inside you, let that stirring move outward. When you like, share, and subscribe, you are not just supporting a message, you are carrying sparks into the dark. Each action is like lifting a torch over a hill so that someone still walking through smoke can find their way home. And if your heart feels led to go further to keep this flame alive, you may donate, but not out of duty. Think of it as adding wood to a campfire on a cold night. The warmth you've received becomes warmth for another soul. Every ember you contribute becomes part of a global blaze of encouragement, reaching those who've forgotten that light still lives. You are not giving to a name. You are weaving light into a tapestry of hope. Each small act, sharing, subscribing, giving, is a thread that holds the pattern together. Some threads are gold, others are silver, but all reflect the same glow. Heaven sees not the amount, but the intention behind it. And if you cannot give now, don't feel distant. Your presence, your prayers, your quiet agreement with the truth spoken here, they are all forms of giving. The fire stays alive through connection. not transaction. You are already part of this circle of light simply by listening and believing. So, if your spirit feels it, act. Like because light deserves to be seen. Share because hope deserves to travel. Subscribe because the journey isn't over yet. And if you are moved, donate because love always multiplies when it flows freely. No pressure, no demand, only the gentle truth that every flame burns brighter when it joins another. One act of kindness can travel farther than you'll ever know. It might touch a broken heart, rekindle a dream, or lift a weary soul you'll never meet. That's how heaven works, through the small choices of those who listen to the voice in the fire and respond. So listen once more. The voice calls not for your perfection, but for your participation. You've walked through the flames and found your purpose. Now, let your fire warm others. Let your life, your story, your yes become the light that outlasts the smoke. There comes a moment, inevitable for every chosen one, when heaven turns your eyes toward a sobering truth: the cost of disobedience. You feel it like a weight in your chest, not because God delights in fear, but because He loves too deeply to let you drift unaware. The same grace that calls you also corrects you. It is mercy's warning, whispered before the door begins to close. Disobedience rarely begins with rebellion. It begins with reasoning. It hides behind good intentions, subtle compromises, and quiet delays. It sounds like, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "God will understand." But what seems small in the moment becomes the seed of distance. Each ignored prompting creates another layer between your spirit and His voice. And soon, you find yourself wandering through blessings that no longer feel alive. God's silence is not absence, it's grief. It's the sound of heaven waiting for your return. When you ignore His instruction, He doesn't rage, He retreats. His love remains, but His power withdraws. He will never bless disobedience, because to do so would teach you to live beneath your design. It was written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. If you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow all His commands and decrees, all these curses will come on you and overtake you. Those words sound harsh until you realize they are not threats, they are truths. Every act of rebellion carries its own consequence, not because God sends it, but because disobedience opens the wrong doors. The further you walk away from divine order, the more chaos claims your peace. But even in disobedience, mercy lingers. You felt it before, the tug in your heart that says, "Turn back." That voice is not condemnation, it's invitation. God does not call you back to humiliate you. He calls you back because your seat in His plan is still empty. The longer you delay, the more weight your absence carries in heaven's design. The cost of disobedience is not only what you lose, it's what others lose through you. There are people tied to your obedience, destinies dependent on your yes. When you withdraw, it's not just your progress that pauses. Heaven's flow through you pauses too. That's why conviction feels heavy. It's the reminder that your role matters. The enemy understands this law well. He doesn't need to make you evil, he just needs to make you disobedient. He knows that delay is as dangerous as denial. He whispers, "Later," until later becomes never. And you, weary and distracted, begin to mistake His voice for your own logic. The longer you resist, the quieter the spirit becomes. Not because He's gone, but because you've tuned your heart to another frequency. Then comes the numbness, the worst consequence of all. When conviction no longer stings, the soul begins to harden. And yet, even then, God waits at the edges, knocking softly, waiting for the smallest crack of surrender. There are moments when mercy steps back so that truth can step forward. When the storms come, it's not always punishment, it's awakening. God will shake the foundation of your comfort if that's what it takes to realign your calling. What feels like loss is often love in disguise. He would rather break your comfort than lose your heart. Disobedience carries a cost, but obedience carries a crown. The difference between the two is often one small decision the moment you choose humility over pride, faith over fear, surrender over stubbornness. Heaven does not demand perfection, it demands permission. It's waiting for your yes, not your performance. And when you finally yield, when you bow your will before His, something beautiful happens. The silence lifts, the peace returns. The flow of favor begins to move again. Heaven rejoices not because you were perfect, but because you came home. The same fire that once burned in correction now burns in communion. You will know that restoration has begun when obedience no longer feels like duty but desire. You will stop asking, "Do I have to?" and start whispering, "I want to." That's when heaven smiles, because that's when your heart beats in rhythm with His again. The cost of disobedience is real, but so is the reward of returning. You can lose time, but not destiny. The moment you turn back, God redeems what delay tried to steal. The table remains set, the calling remains open, the love remains unshaken. The warning of disobedience is not meant to scare you, it's meant to save you. It is heaven saying, "I still have need of you." Don't let stubbornness steal what surrender can restore. You have wandered enough. The same voice that once called you forward still calls you now patient, persistent, and full of mercy. Answer it, return, and watch how quickly heaven turns the page. The night deepens before the dawn. You feel it, the tension between endings and beginnings, between what you've lost and what's waiting to rise. This is the hour of decision, the place where destiny stands quietly beside your will and asks, will you rise or retreat? The heavens have already written your victory, but heaven will not force your participation. You must choose. This moment is sacred because it is silent. No one else can make this decision for you. The crowd cannot follow you here. The opinions of others cannot guide you. It is between you and God now. The same voice that called you out of the storm now stands before you, waiting for your answer. Will you step forward into obedience, or will you shrink back into safety? You already know that safety is an illusion. Every time you've hidden in fear, you felt emptier, not safer. Every time you've delayed what heaven told you to do, peace left. It's not because God punished you, it's because peace only lives in alignment. Every step outside His will feels like walking against the wind. But every step toward obedience, no matter how small, restores calm to your soul. The hour of decision is not always loud. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a whisper in the dark. It's time. You've prayed. You've waited. You've wondered, and now the command comes gently but firmly. It doesn't need to shout because it carries authority. The same God who spoke galaxies into being is now speaking purpose into you. The words of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15, still resound through eternity. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Every generation of the chosen must face this choice. Will you serve comfort? Or will you serve calling? Will you live for approval or for assignment? The question may seem simple, but the consequences are eternal. Heaven is not waiting for emotion, it's waiting for decision. You may feel afraid, unqualified, uncertain, but that's exactly how every warrior of light begins. Obedience rarely starts with confidence. It starts with surrender. You don't need to know the whole map, only the next step. God never demanded that you understand. He asked that you trust. When you finally say yes, the world around you will not change immediately, but you will. Something inside shifts. The weight of hesitation falls away. Clarity replaces confusion. Doors that were sealed suddenly begin to move. Heaven responds to obedience like fire responds to oxygen, it expands. But this is not a moment to rush. Let the decision settle deep within you. Feel its gravity. This is the line that separates those who talk about destiny from those who walk in it. The enemy will try one last time to distract you, to convince you that you can decide later. But later is the language of loss. Now is the language of faith. Right now, heaven leans close. Angels pause. Time seems to hold its breath as eternity watches for your choice. The decision you make in this moment echoes far beyond your lifetime. It shapes generations, unlocks promises, and establishes legacy. You may not see all of it yet, but heaven does. And when you feel ready, when your spirit whispers its answer, declare it openly. Comment the number 2222 below. This is not superstition, it's a sign of alignment. 2 represents agreement, and when it multiplies, it speaks of covenant, your yes in harmony with heaven's will. When you type 2222, you're not just pressing numbers, you're establishing unity between your desire and divine direction. It's your signature on heaven's invitation to destiny. Let that number be your declaration, I choose my calling. Let it remind you that you will no longer drift between 2 opinions. No longer stand halfway between surrender and safety. You are crossing the line tonight fully, freely, and fearlessly. The dawn will not wait much longer. The sun is about to rise on a new chapter of your life. And when it does, the world will see not who you were, but who you finally decided to become. When you write 22222, heaven does not see digits, it sees decision. It reads the echo of your obedience, the proof that you are aligning your will with divine timing. Heaven moves at the pace of your yes. This number carries the rhythm of partnership, you and God walking side by side, agreement sealed by faith. It symbolizes balance, restoration, and divine order returning to your path. Every time you see it again, let it remind you your decision still stands. So stand firm, chosen one. You are no longer at the edge of choice, you are walking within covenant. Heaven has recorded your yes. The air feels different now. You have made your choice, and heaven has acknowledged it. The weight that once pressed against your chest has lifted, not because the battle is over, but because you finally know where you stand. Every step you take now echoes with purpose. The armor you put on begins to reveal its divine purpose. Each piece you've been carrying starts to manifest its true power. The time for training has passed. This is the hour of activation. When the armor holds, the warrior changes. You begin to realize that every struggle you faced was secretly strengthening a piece of you. The truth you wore as a belt now holds you steady when lies swirl. The breastplate of righteousness protects your heart when guilt tries to return. The shield of faith, once heavy in your hand, now feels like an extension of who you are. Every swing of your spiritual sword cuts through confusion, leaving clarity behind. The armor doesn't shine because it's new, it shines because it's proven. It carries the marks of your journey, the scratches of past battles, the polish of perseverance. What once felt too heavy to bear now feels like second skin. This is the mystery of divine preparation. What once hurt you becomes what holds you. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. That is what your armor has become, a collection of divine weapons hidden in humility. Every word of truth you speak, every act of kindness you show, every prayer whispered in faith, these are not small things. They are invisible strikes against darkness. Heaven fights through your obedience. When the armor holds, temptation loses its grip. You stop reacting to every attack. You stop panicking when storms rise. You stop measuring your strength by how loud the thunder gets. Instead, you move calmly, like a soldier who already knows the end of the war. Because you do. You've read the promises. You know that victory is not a future event. It is a present reality wrapped in endurance. Still, the armor does not make you immune to pain, it makes you effective in it. You will still feel the sting of loss, the ache of delay, the tension of uncertainty. But pain can no longer penetrate the core of who you are. It may touch the surface, but it cannot pierce the soul. The armor holds because you've learned how to rest inside it. There will be days when you question if you're truly equipped. Those are the days you must remember who fitted your armor. Heaven tailored it for your exact battles. No one else can wear it. Every part of your story, the brokenness, the bravery, the rebuilding has shaped its fit. You don't fight like others because your battles are not theirs. You fight with grace forged from your own history. You will notice something else when your armor holds. Others begin to find courage through your steadiness. Your endurance becomes their evidence. People start to look at you and see not perfection, but persistence. They realize that holiness isn't about being untouched, it's about being unshaken. There is beauty in this stability. You start to move differently, to think differently. You no longer live from reaction, but from revelation. You begin to anticipate rather than fear. You pray not out of panic, but out of partnership. The armor of God was never meant to make you rigid, it was meant to make you ready. As you walk through each day, you'll begin to recognize the subtle ways heaven uses you. Your words carry weight in conversations. Your presence brings peace in chaos. You've become a vessel that reflects divine steadiness. People won't always understand it, they'll call it confidence, calm, or even mystery, but it's simply the armor holding. The greatest test of armor is not in battle, but in peace. Can you stay disciplined when things seem quiet? Can you remain humble when victory feels easy? The armor that protected you in the storm must still cover you in the sun. The enemy often returns not when you're wounded, but when you're comfortable. That's why the chosen stay alert, even in calm seas. Now you walk with quiet assurance. The armor no longer defines you, it reveals you. You are not the trembling soldier who once feared the fight. You are the warrior who understands purpose in pain. You are the proof that faith forged through fire can stand unshaken in peace. And as you continue forward, heaven smiles not because the battle is done, but because you have learned the art of endurance. The armor holds, and so do you. Fear has followed you since the beginning. It's been the shadow beside your calling, the whisper behind every step of obedience. It told you that you weren't ready, that you weren't worthy, that you would fail. But as you stand now, clothed in divine armor, something inside you shifts. The voice of fear begins to falter because it realizes you're no longer listening. Fear thrives on attention. It feeds on imagination. It paints pictures of defeat that never existed. It distorts the future, dragging your faith into false scenarios. For years, it held your potential hostage by convincing you that safety was better than destiny. But now, the fall of fear has begun. It doesn't happen in an instant. It happens every time you refuse to bow to its voice. There's a holy stillness in you now, a quiet confidence born not from arrogance but awareness. You've learned that fear cannot survive where truth is spoken. You've seen too much of God's faithfulness to tremble at shadows anymore. Every time you faced what frightened you and kept walking, fear lost a piece of its territory. The chains that once wrapped around your courage are turning to dust beneath your feet. According to the words written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You no longer fight fear, you outgrow it. What once paralyzed you now propels you." You begin to understand that courage is not the absence of trembling. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Courage is faith dressed in action. It's the quiet step that says, "I trust you, even here." The fall of fear begins when faith takes root. Faith doesn't argue with fear, it replaces it. It changes your focus from what could go wrong to who goes with you. The moment your attention shifts, fear starts to crumble. The lies lose their volume. The darkness loses its shape. Fear once told you that failure would destroy you. But now you see that failure taught you what success could not. It built resilience in your spirit. It forced you to find strength in silence and hope in hardship. The things you once dreaded became the very tools that equipped you. Every scar you carry tells a story fear tried to stop but couldn't. The fall of fear is quiet, but it's powerful. It's not marked by a shout, but by steady peace. You wake up one morning and realize that what used to intimidate you now inspires you. You see mountains not as obstacles, but as opportunities to prove the strength of your God. There is a strange authority that comes from surviving fear. It gives you a gentleness toward others still trapped in it. You no longer judge those who hesitate, you understand them. You know the battle they're fighting because you fought it too. And now, your calm presence becomes a signal of safety to them. The peace you carry invites others into courage. When fear falls, love rises. Perfect love casts out fear, not through violence, but through visibility. When you begin to see yourself as God sees you, fear loses its footing. It cannot cling to someone who knows they are loved, chosen, and covered. Fear only holds power over the forgotten, never the found. And now, you walk differently. You still hear fear's voice, sometimes it's quieter now, more desperate, but it no longer directs your path. You acknowledge it, then walk through it. That's what freedom looks like. Not the absence of the voice, but the refusal to obey it. Every step you take in peace is a sermon to the shadows. It declares that fear has fallen, that faith has taken the throne. And though the world may still tremble, your spirit stands steady, unshaken, anchored in divine assurance. The fall of fear doesn't mean you'll never face darkness again. It means darkness no longer defines you. You've learned to walk through it carrying light. You've learned that bravery is not loud, it's faithful. The kind of bravery that walks quietly but leaves footprints of fire behind. Now, the one who was once hunted by fear has become the hunter of it. You stand where nightmares once ruled, and you speak peace into the air. The ground that used to shake beneath you now carries your steps like sacred rhythm. Fear has fallen, and the sound it makes is freedom. The battlefield stretches quiet now. Smoke drifts across the horizon, carrying both the scent of struggle and the promise of peace. You fought through flame and fear, through silence and surrender, and now, at last, you stand where few ever reach, the place where victory is not a shout but a sigh. The fight is not over, but it has changed. You no longer battle for survival, you battle for legacy. Heaven crowns not those who never fell, but those who refuse to stay down. Every scar on your spirit has become a jewel in your crown, evidence that faith outlasted fire. The world may never know how deeply you bled, how often you broke, How many nights you whispered prayers through tears. But heaven knows. Every tear was counted, every wound was recorded, and every moment you chose belief over bitterness became part of your coronation. As written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. You understand that victory doesn't always look like triumph. It often looks like endurance. The crown is not forged in celebration but in consistency. It's made from the metal of perseverance, hammered by hardship, and polished by humility. And as you lift your head, you feel it not a heavy crown of gold, but a light one of grace. It rests easily because it fits perfectly. You've become the battlefield crowned, a warrior turned witness. You carry in your spirit the echo of heaven's applause and the quiet knowing that every storm you survived has made you luminous. You are the evidence that divine strength still dwells in human fragility. The crown you wear is not just for you, it's for every soul who doubted they'd ever rise again. And now, as your story continues, this message meets you here not to demand anything, but to remind you that light multiplies when shared. When you like, share, or subscribe, you're not performing a gesture, you're planting seeds. Each one grows into a flame that reaches another wanderer. Think of it as passing your torch to someone still crawling through the dark. Your one act of connection might become another's lifeline, if you found strength in these words. If they've helped you breathe again, then consider helping the light travel farther. You can donate, but not as a duty, as a decision to keep the fire burning. Imagine a long night where travelers find warmth because someone, somewhere, decided to throw one more log into the fire. That's what your gift becomes, a piece of your warmth, a ripple of your faith, a spark sent forward. No one can force that choice. It's too sacred for pressure. Giving, sharing, supporting, these are languages of gratitude, not obligation. They say, what I received, I want to release. They say, the fire found me, now let it find another. Even if all you can offer is presence, your listening, your prayer, your heartbeat still synced with heaven's rhythm, it matters. The divine sees every small offering as sacred fuel. Nothing is wasted. Everything contributes to the greater blaze. Because light deserves to live. Share, because hope deserves a witness. Subscribe, because journeys this deep are never meant to be walked alone. Donate, if your heart moves. Because love cannot stay still, it must express itself. And if this message has reached the quiet corners of your soul, let it leave an echo. Comment something that burns in your heart. Your word becomes a spark. Every honest line written in faith travels farther than sound ever could, lighting unseen paths for another heart searching for direction. Each act is a melody in the same song, the song of the redeemed, the relentless, the risen. You are part of that music now, and every note you play, every echo you release, becomes another reminder to the world that faith is still alive. You wear your crown not as a trophy, but as a testimony. It glimmers not for your glory, but for His. Every shimmer is a story of survival, of battles fought and peace found. And as you breathe in this calm, you understand the battlefield was never just about victory. It was about becoming. So stand tall, crowned one. The world will see the light on your brow and not know the fire that forged it, but heaven does. And in that quiet knowing, you'll smile, understanding that even crowns cast shadows, and that your next task is not to shine alone, but to reflect light for others. Heaven keeps records. Every act of endurance, every whisper of obedience, every tear shed in secret, it all becomes part of your eternal story. Nothing escapes divine notice. There are no forgotten moments for the chosen. When others saw your silence, heaven saw your faith. When you felt invisible, the angels were watching closely, writing your perseverance into eternity's archives. There is a sacred awe in knowing that the Creator of the universe has recorded your name, not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. The pages of heaven don't measure status or talent. They measure surrender. You may think your victories are small, but heaven celebrates everyone. Each time you resisted giving up, you rewrote a chapter in your destiny. Heaven recorded these words through Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord spoke with each other, and the Lord listened and heard them. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. That scroll still exists. Somewhere beyond the veil of time, there is a record of your faith. The nights you prayed with trembling hands, the mornings you got up when you wanted to disappear, the moments you worshipped with a broken voice. All of it is there. Not one moment wasted, not one sacrifice unseen. Heaven records what earth ignores. You might not receive applause here. People may forget your good deeds, misunderstand your heart, or dismiss your growth. But heaven never forgets. Every act of kindness you give once, every step of forgiveness you choose, becomes a note written in divine ink. When God reads your life, he doesn't see your failures first. He sees your endurance shining through the lines. And it's not just your deeds that are recorded, it's your transformation. Heaven keeps track of who you are becoming. Every season of pruning, every moment of refining, every time you've said, "And still, I trust you," adds weight to your testimony. You're not just a believer, you're a living archive of grace. When heaven records your name, it isn't a cold inscription, it's a living covenant. To be written by God means to be remembered by eternity. And remembrance is not passive, it's active. It means that heaven will act on your behalf in due time. Every seed you've sown in pain will be revisited in joy. Every season you endured in silence will echo back in reward. There's a mystery in divine remembrance. God never forgets what love endures. Even when you walk through fire, when your heart questions everything, he remembers the sincerity beneath your confusion. You are seen completely, your strength and your struggle, your belief and your breaking. The record in heaven is not flawless, it's faithful. Heaven's records are not like human books, they breathe. Each line written about you carries life, waiting for the appointed time to manifest. When God decides the moment has come, those words become reality. What was once written in invisible ink turns into visible blessing. You may not know when, but you can be certain it's already been authorized. You've often wondered if your faith matters. It does, even when you feel small. Heaven considers you significant enough to write about. The world measures impact by numbers, but God measures it by depth. One act of faith, even unnoticed, can move eternity. The smallest yes can shift generations. So as you stand now, understand this: you are living proof that heaven invests in consistency. You have been tested and found trustworthy. You are not forgotten, you are marked, cataloged, celebrated in ways the world cannot understand. The record of your faith will outlive your lifetime. Long after your voice fades, the resonance of your obedience will remain. Someone in the future will stand stronger because you chose not to quit. That's the beauty of being written into heaven's story. Your endurance becomes a legacy. Heaven records not just the destination, but the devotion it took to get there. The same God who wrote your name in his book is still writing through you. Every breath, every choice, every moment surrendered adds another sentence to a story that cannot be erased. So lift your head, chosen one. The ink of heaven has not dried yet. Your story is still unfolding, still alive, still holy. You are a living testimony, an eternal name on heaven's scroll of remembrance. Heaven continues to write, even now. Every breath you take in faith becomes another line of glory, another verse of victory recorded beneath your eternal name. Your life is inked in light, written across eternity's pages, and long after time forgets, heaven will still whisper your story to generations unseen. There is a stillness that follows victory, a silence that feels almost sacred. It isn't the emptiness of exhaustion, but the quiet clarity that comes after obedience. The air feels lighter, the world softer, and somewhere deep within, you know that something eternal has shifted. You've fought, you've stood, you've surrendered, and now you've become something heaven can trust. This is the call to eternal readiness, the realization that being chosen was never about one battle, but a lifelong posture of vigilance and devotion. Readiness is not restlessness. It's not pacing anxiously for the next storm. It's peace in motion, alert, aware, and anchored. The chosen are not meant to live on defense, but in discernment. You don't wait for the enemy's move anymore. You move with heaven's rhythm. You are no longer simply reacting to darkness, you are anticipating destiny. The call to eternal readiness is the moment you stop living seasonally and start living spiritually. You no longer measure life by comfort or chaos, but by calling. Whether the road is calm or full of wind, your heart remains steady. Readiness is not about watching the sky for signs, it's about keeping your spirit sensitive to the slightest whisper of God's direction. The word thundered once more through Matthew, chapter 24, verse 44. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Those words are not only about his return, they are about his movement now. Readiness means being available for divine interruption. Heaven rarely announces its moments, it simply moves. And those who are ready respond. That's why your spirit must stay awake. The chosen cannot afford to sleep through purpose. Every day is sacred ground waiting to be stepped upon. Eternal readiness begins in the heart. It's not a matter of constant action, but constant awareness. You can be still and still be ready. You can rest and still be alert. The world confuses busyness with faithfulness, but heaven knows the difference. Readiness is the alignment of your will with divine timing. It's saying, whatever you need, I'm here, and meaning it. When your heart is ready, everything else follows. Fear loses its foothold because readiness replaces surprise with surrender. Anxiety fades because you've learned to trust the unseen hand guiding you. You no longer pray for easier paths. You pray for sharper discernment. Every sunrise becomes an invitation, and every challenge becomes an assignment. This posture of readiness turns ordinary life into sacred movement. Washing dishes becomes worship. Conversations become conduits of grace. Every breath becomes a yes to heaven's unfolding plan. You begin to realize that the chosen are not marked by titles or miracles, but by availability. God doesn't need the most gifted, he needs the most yielded. There's a deep beauty in this way of living. You begin to see purpose in the pauses and divine meaning in the mundane. Even silence feels like communication. You understand that heaven is never idle. It's always orchestrating. Every delay, every detour, every redirection becomes proof that you are still being guided. You can rest without retreating and work without worrying because readiness has become your nature. And though the war may shift, though seasons may change, you remain constant. You've learned that true power lies not in resistance, but in response, in the calm obedience that says, "Here I am." That's the sound heaven listens for. The angels move when a ready heart speaks. The call to eternal readiness is also the call to eternal love. You remain open not only to instruction but to compassion. Readiness means your heart stays tender, even after battle. You don't grow hard, you grow holy. You carry peace like armor and kindness like a sword. The world will look at you and not understand how you can be gentle and fierce at once, but that's the mark of readiness. Strength that serves, authority that heals. And when your final season comes, when your name is called home, you won't panic, you'll simply rise. Because the ready never die unprepared. You will step into eternity the same way you've lived, awake, willing, radiant. Heaven's gates will not surprise you. They will feel familiar, like returning to a place you've always known. So walk on. Steady soul, keep your armor near, your heart soft, your spirit watchful. You were never called just to win a single war, you were called to live in divine awareness, a continual state of worshipful readiness. That is the mark of those heaven calls its own. You have become the vessel that carries both fire and peace, both courage and calm. And as eternity watches, heaven writes one last note beside your name, faithful, ready, homeward bound. The message has been spoken, but its echo continues through you. What began as words has become a living flame within your spirit, a reminder that you were never ordinary, never random, never forgotten. You have walked through fire and silence, learned to stand, to listen, to rise. Heaven has marked you not just as a survivor, but as a steward of light. And now, as this journey closes, the story turns to you. The message doesn't end here, it continues through your hands, your heart, your choices. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you're not just supporting a voice, you're extending the flame. Somewhere, someone waits in the same darkness you once knew, and your small act might be the spark that awakens them. If your heart feels stirred to go further, to keep this fire alive, you may donate, not out of pressure, but out of passion. Think of it as placing one more stone on the altar, a token of gratitude for what you've received. Every offering, every gesture becomes part of the light that keeps reaching further than you could ever go alone. And before you leave, let your words leave a trace comment what still burns within you. Let it be your way of saying, I was here. I heard. I carry this forward. Your voice may be the match that lights another's path long after this moment fades. Thank you for walking this journey of spirit and strength. May your light never dim, your faith never fracture, and your purpose never grow cold. The world still needs the flame you carry. Guard it, give it, and let it glow.